What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk about uncertainty in the African American community and how our sense of uncertainty is what makes us do some of the things that we do, right? And that, in reality, in the real world, things are not as bad for African Americans as we like to portray on the internet. Okay, let me explain. On the internet, on social media, in order to get someone to watch or view you, you need to do something interesting, something that's going to capture someone's attention, something that's going to make them stop for a second and pay attention to what it is you got to say or whatever, right? So you need to, you got to grab them somehow. And naturally, what do we like? What do we as human beings like? Not just African Americans, but what do we as human beings like, right? Something that stops us and makes us watch it. Some drama, right? Action, right? Action movies, drama, love stories, betrayal, treachery, doomsday, destruction, opposition, combat. Those things will make a human being stop and pay attention, right? So if you're a content creator, it behooves you financially to come up with something that's very controversial, right? Whether it be a controversial truth about something political, whether it be a controversial opinion about something political. It could be a controversial truth or a controversial opinion, but really controversial truth is not controversy because it's true. There's no controversy in the truth or facts. It's mainly people's opinions based off their understanding of the truth or lack of, therefore, understanding of the truth. So you can get someone who because they want to, make their YouTube page get big or TikTok, they'll do shock value stuff. So the things that we're inundated as black people, as far as what we listen to in the black media space, in the black space where we conjugate to talk about our issues and talk about things as black, there's a lot more energy put into my video cut. But anyway, for entertainment value, we tend to watch or gravitate and monetarily and everything that we gear towards some drama in the black community, right? So if we're going to talk about our issues, the only way to get someone to stop and listen is talk about the things that we got to deal with, the bad things, right? So if you notice on YouTube, a lot of us Pan-Africans, a lot of us FBA, ADOS, whatever group we're in, whether you agree with them or not or whatever, if you notice, most of it is us trying to critique ourselves and trying to figure out who we are, where we come from, and what we should be doing in the future. That's what we talk about, right? And we argue with each other over ideologies, over religion, over political views, and all these things, and we fight. And we fight and we fight and we fight. And a lot of us who are hosting these shows or who are coming on the shows to talk to the host or to the audience, we get so angry because not only are we having our culture, our community, our tribe, our clan critiqued by other people who are not from that particular tribe, culture, or clan, right? But we're constantly inundated by that, so we're always fighting back, right? So it becomes a chamber of people just fighting. Whether their intelligence are high or low, you just got a bunch of African Americans, and everybody's just fighting, right? And in African Americans, we're finally being critiqued by other black people, because in America, we never had to worry about anybody critiquing us. We were omnipotent when it came to that because of what we've been through. But now we got other black folks that have similar experiences or different experiences, but just as harsh. And they also are in our environments, and they're also critiquing us, and we're not used to that. All right. So, but that caused us to have an environment of us talking trash, and the only thing we hear is the bad, negative. But no one is really talking about all the great and good things that's happening. Like, as far as African Americans, listen, African Americans are actually, despite all the things, yes, we know there's institutionalized racism, there's all sorts of things. We know that, right? But all that being said, African Americans are doing great in America, actually, comparatively. All right. Our group GDP isn't in the trillions. Sure, we don't spend our money right sometimes, but that's also not true. We have hundreds of thousands of African American business professionals in the highest levels of industry in STEM. Yeah, should there be more? Yes. There should be more. It's always better to have more. But percentage-wise, we always use percentages to make us look bad, as far as, oh, you're only 13% of the population, but you're 55% of the incarcerated, or blah, 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 or you prevent 22% of the crimes, without taking in consideration numbers and environments. And that takes precedent over color. If you got a poor neighborhoods, no matter what complexion they are, tend to do and gravitate towards the same thing. So if you have a disproportionate amount of poor neighborhoods and those people just happen to be black, of course, the number is going to be screwed, based off your population versus how many of you guys are susceptible to it. But at the same time, we as African Americans are doing great in this country as far as the groups are concerned. We're in the highest levels of the professional fields. We may not be the most owned. We don't have that much ownership in Silicon Valley, but we are the engineers and the technicians within Silicon Valley behind the scenes creating a lot of these technologies, right? And a lot of these people a lot of African Americans are going overseas creating businesses. A lot of African Americans are traveling the world being ambassadors to African Americans. And a lot of African Americans are doing business, have international businesses. A lot of African Americans are doctors, lawyers, and all those various other things. A lot of African Americans are very, very, very successful and used all the things that this place that we call the United States of America has to offer, because America is the place that if you have the money, or if you have the motivation and capability to make the money, despite the things or obstacles that be in front of you, you can do anything you want. But you gotta have the money and you gotta know people, right? If you have the capability to get the gap, to get to know people, and you have the hustle mentality to make the money, you can make anything happen in America. You can leverage that. But the thing is, America's very expensive. It's a yin and yang. There's a cost to everything. So if there's a lot of opportunities in America, there's also a lot of things that's wrong. A lot of things that can go wrong, because the gamble in America is very high, but the winnings are astronomical compared to a lot of other places. But if you can leverage your American dollar and you go to overseas where your money goes further, then you can really maximize your American your American environment. But the reason why a lot of us don't take advantage of it is because we want to, we don't want to take risks. We have a comfortable environment. We have African Americans have a unique relationship with the federal government, because 90% of us, most of our wealth comes from working for contracting or government, or working in the government, the federal government and state governments, right? So we're so comfortable where we are. We don't want to take risks, because that federal government, that's good money. We know we getting paid. We can keep that job 20, 30, 40 years. We settled. That's what we've done. We've been workers in every level of government. And we are now. We are literally the federal government. African Americans are the federal government. We run that government. You pull African Americans out of the federal government, out of most state governments where in major cities, this whole country shuts down. That's how integral we are in as far as legislation and operations within the federal government, law enforcement included. Right? African Americans are actually doing very, very well, despite all the things that we like to critique about ourselves. It's just that we could be doing a lot better, right? But we get too comfortable. We don't want to start. We don't want to, like the lower. I guess I would say the majority of us that are in the lower financial class, they don't want to start businesses. They want to get into that federal government job. And if they don't want to get into the federal government job, they're going to get into those federal government benefits. African Americans have been masters at taking advantage of the federal government benefits. We know how to do that because we have to survive. Because we're dealing with and trying to counteract the institutionalized racism and purposeful degradation of our communities. Right? So we got to take every avenue we can. And the federal government has been our biggest ally, biggest help, our biggest come up. A lot of our businesses that we have are contracted to the federal government, making lots of money, contracting because the federal government will pay us. So, there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. Oh, African Americans, we have culture. We know, everybody knows hip hop's not our culture, it's music. We know that. We know that. But it's so inspirational that the whole world looks at it, and it is such a big picture. The whole world sees us and they see it, and they just can't disconnect. And because a lot of them don't live here, they don't understand that the African American culture ourselves is really just African culture over here, modified and tweaked a little bit because of the amalgamation of different African cultures that had to congregate and get together and learn and live together over here under duress, under the common oppressor. So African American culture is just a mix of African culture with a little bit of European culture mixed in because we live with them. Same as African American, same as white culture in Americas. A lot of their culture is African culture that they have adopted. It's the same thing. What happens? Culture always switches and changes. But we have to understand African Americans are very comfortable where we are. We're making lots of money here. We have lots of businesses. We're jet setting all over the world. We have an industry, we have a sporting industry where black folks are disproportionately benefiting from becoming the lower millionaire class over everybody in the world, in almost every sport except for like hockey, and we can take that anytime we want. Okay, think about it. So we have a lot of advantages over here, and a lot of things we do take advantage of. We're doing pretty good. We can just do better. We can have more. We can do better with each other, right? We can do all that, and we can have more businesses. We just don't have that business mindset because we're workers. We've been working for 400 years. We know how to work. Even our businesses, most of our businesses is us working somehow, We are doing good, but we can do better. Our lower class need to understand that they can jump into the middle class if they just start doing business because of the uncertainty, right? That paycheck, because all of us, most of us, if we're not super rich, even if we're doing well, we're still only one paycheck away from disaster. We're still only one healthcare scare away from disaster because the cost of living here is astronomical. So just like, yeah, you have plenty of opportunities, but the downfall is how expensive it is to live here. So your opportunities versus, the downfall, which to live in America costs a lot, right? So Pan-Africans, we're saying, hey, leverage yourself in your homeland with people that look like you, to where your hard-earned American money that you make can be leveraged 10, 100, 1,000-fold somewhere else, safe, secure, away from institutionalized racism. Sure, there's other problems somewhere else, but it's not institutionalized racism. It's things that you can deal with on the merit of being a business person. Easily, right? You can have institutions that won't be sabotaged by the people that you know to be the oppressor, right? And you can live anywhere you want, in America, in Europe, in Africa, anywhere. But you can create an institution and a business and a network and a foundation in a place that's safe to do whatever you want, for the most part. We just gotta be able to take the jump. We got to understand that we have been workers, but we need to work for ourselves. We're fully capable of operating businesses the same way we operate those goddamn those rooms in them government buildings. I know y'all see these women out here and these men out here running whole divisions of people. Easy. You 23, 24, 25-year-old black guys fresh out of college with a bachelor's degree or something, he's running whole divisions with important secret documentation and top secret documentation. All sorts of high-level stuff. We can do that. If you can do that, you can manage any type of business, right? I mean, and my military guys know. In the military, you're 21, you got plenty of 21, 19, 18-year-olds responsible for multi-million dollars worth of equipment, people's lives, being placed in corners of the world by yourself and expected to be the most responsible human being possible in an environment that you're not used to, in a hostile situation, with millions of dollars of equipment and lives on the line. You're talking about 17, 18, 19-year-olds. I was 19 and I was responsible for a whole platoon of goddamn Taliban who were on our side fighting other Taliban. Me, 19, I'm in charge of the Taliban going to fight other Taliban because they don't like each other. Me, 19. You know how much responsibility that was? And the oldest person on the patrol that took 3 days is 23. The oldest person. We're all kids out here. All right, there's a lot of young adults doing adult things. We have the capability of doing it. We just have to start leveraging it towards the things that are going to benefit us as a community, and not be afraid to step out there and start these businesses. Yes, you get tired. You put so much time into your career, your job, and you work so hard, and you make other people rich, and you let other people live their best life because you're working so hard, because you're so dedicated to the job, because you want to look good and represent yourself correctly. Before you know it, 40 years done passed, and your golden ages are gone, and you could have been spending that time doing your thing. Because we say we don't have time to do businesses. We don't have time because we're working. We got all this stuff. Well, we can organize our lives. All right, we can have a culture of organizing our lives. Maybe not if we are going to be promiscuous at a younger age, how about we be more responsible about that and stop getting pregnant so early, so that we have time to make and build ourselves and prepare ourselves for family, but not too late, but just at the right time. How about we start setting targets like the Asian people do? All right, they set targets when their children at a certain age. They're like, you should be here. You should be here right now in life. You should be here. Especially if you're somebody you want to get married. Guess what? You want to get in there, get your education, get your business started. Look for your mate at a certain young age before he turns into that high value man everybody talk about, right? That way he values you for being there before he done made it. That way y'all can work together and build together, right? As a team, right? Have a family at a decent age so you can raise your children. And you can be a business owner and have your own money, and you don't have to be holding to anybody. We can set the trajectory for our kids to do that, and we can do it at ourselves. So we can set that precedent ourselves. We can put that within our culture. Remember, culture's always changing. Culture never remains the same. The culture that you know now is just amalgamation of the cultures that your forefathers used to practice, right? Culture's always changing, and that's one of the great things about culture, right? We have the power to change that thing within us. If it's our culture and our cultural practices that's holding us back, how about we change our culture, right? I mean, we can't change other people's culture. We can't stop them from doing the things they're going to do. They're going to do those things. We have to understand that this is the law, and they're going to do that. But because they're going to do that, what are we going to do, right? We can't wait for them to make a move. We got to make our move, right? And we'll start taking care of ourselves. So what we need to do is change our culture. If you think that them Africans coming over here, and keep in mind the Africans that can afford to come to America, they're already middle class or upper middle class already. Keep in mind, already. And the other ones you see working at the grocery stores and all that, look, they're on a program, all right? Guess what? They're coming here. They're going to work their ass off for somebody else that already worked their ass off, who sponsored them. They're going to bring them over here. They're going to work their ass off to pay it back, right? And after that, they're going to get put on after they learn the business. And then they're going to get shut off, and they're going to open their business. And when they open their business, guess what? Some other one who come over here and need some help, he sponsor him, they bring him over, you work for them, boom, you work for me, you pay it back, then I put you on, and then on to the next one. That's what they're doing. That's what the Spanish people are doing. Why you think we make fun of the Latinos? It be 15 people in the house, right? But guess what? That's 15 people in the house. All of them got jobs. All of them splitting the bills in the house. Utilities, mortgage, food, all that split 20 ways. Guess what? That means when they get paid, all that money goes, to building their empire either back home or building a huge business back here. They buying pickup trucks, and they buying landscaping equipment, and they buying building supplies and building equipment, and they slowly growing their empire because they're working together as a group. And they share one Honda Civic, and they all take turns driving that junk, and they all get in and go to the same place. And while we looking and making fun of them, like, like the Mexicans, guess what? The Mexicans are making money because they got a program. The Africans got a program, and the reason why they got programs is because they're coming from a place where they didn't have certainty. You understand? So they're coming from a place where they didn't have certainty, right? And so that means even the money that they had, even the things that they were doing, they weren't quite sure if they had enough certainty to expand, or if there was certainty enough in the opportunities to be able to really do what they wanted to do. So they wanted to come here and leverage this to do that because they knew they could, right? That's the American way. If you're an American, you're supposed to believe in that, right? So either way, right? So we just need to adopt the culture of our brothers and sisters. Think about it. If that's the culture, that's us anyway. That's our culture. We just not using it, right? Let's be business people, right? We all hustlers. Our women are strong. They're opinionated, right? They get out here and get it done. Our black women are like that. We know that, right? They're admired for that. They're revered for that. They're also attacked for that. Our black men are super strong, very masculine, strong, athletic, intelligent, smart, capable. Everybody knows it. Everybody's jealous of it, right? So what do? You make sure anytime you represent it, you don't want to see that. You don't want to be second. Nobody wants to be second or third because nobody cares about second or third. Number one is always the one that's getting hated. That's why you think everybody hate LeBron, because he's so awesome, and he did it on his own. And ain't nothing you can do about it. That's why people hate LeBron. They have no reason to hate LeBron, and he did it the right way, right? So all I'm saying is we can change our culture, right? We don't have to accept things that we don't like about our culture, we don't have to accept that. We can have some couth about us. We can add some dignity and pride to us. We can create our own certainty. You understand? What we need is our own certainty. Because it's very uncertain if that man is going to give us that reparations check, right? Because he can't afford it. They can't afford to give it to us. They're not going to just like the slave and the slave master. There's never a time where the slave master said, hey, you know what? I'll be the slave today. You be the master. Matter of fact, you take the keys. You go sleep in the mansion. I go in the slave house. Never in human history. Never in human history. So don't expect it to happen now. That's why reparations not happen, whether you are owed it or not. Okay? So, you know, a lot of people are owed apologies. They ain't getting it. So what makes you think you're going to get it? You're not going to get it. Especially when their whole history is predicated on doing exactly this thing. That's what they're proud of. Right? So they just did it again in a big way. Think they're going to give it back? When have they ever given anything back? Never. Okay? So be mature enough, move past it, create your own certainty with your own institutions, with your own people. That way you can do and say what you want and there's no consequences. You know? So that's it. That's all I'm gonna wrap. I've been talking for a while. Okay, so that's all I got to say for now, guys. We're dealing with uncertainty, but understand African Americans are doing great. We just need to do better. More of us can be doing a lot better because there's so many of us. We have all the tools and equipment and the resources with each other to help each other. Africans can help African Americans. African Americans can help Caribbeans. Caribbeans can help Africans. We all literally can just help each other and lift each other out of the situations and the unique situations that we are all in within our own countries together. All we got to do is stop fighting over dumb stuff. Really, literally, stop fighting over dumb stuff that means nothing at all, that has no actionable, consequence, good or bad, no matter who wins. Huh? Arguing over this versus that, that versus this versus that. Do they like us? Do they? So what? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. There are Africans who like me. Those are the ones I'm working with. The ones that don't, fuck them. There are African Americans who don't like me, right? Y'all talking about, don't worry about people that don't like you. There's people here in your tribe that don't fucking like you. Does that make you hate all people around you? No, you just like, fuck them. So you just say fuck them and work with the ones that will. Everybody ain't going. We know that. We all ain't going. 100% of African Americans, 100% of Caribbeans, 100% of African continental Africans are not gonna make it to the mountaintop. Ain't enough space up there. But there's plenty of space up there right now. And if you want to go up there, we can go together. If you want to stay down here, keep staying down here and keep fighting about, who jollof rice is better. Who music is better. Who invented hip hop. Tether. A whole bunch of dumb shit. I'm trying to get to the bag. Alright? Pan-African's trying to get to the bag. Black Power's trying to get to the bag. You get to the bag, money talks. So when we got some money, we can talk all the shit we want. We can take over the world, guys. Literally, we can take over the world if we just decided to. We have literally all the power, all the knowledge, all the capability, everything. It's our decision. The chains are only on our brains. That's it. We need to create our own certainty, okay? That's all I got to say for now, guys. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach. Oh, you know what? Before I go, let me show y'all what I got. Look at this, y'all. It's like a whole African. It's like a whole Africa. It's like painted on. I'm gonna lift it a little bit. Not a dress, goddamn. This is African clothes. I proudly wear my African stuff, y'all. As you can see, African American. Listen. I go to the whitest neighborhood, all right, and I wear this. Look. I will go as an African American. I'll go anywhere where they hate Nigerians specifically, and then wear my most Nigerian outfit as an African American. I'll walk around proudly. That's how down for the cause I am. That's how unapologetically black I am. I don't care. That's just like that. So I just wanted to show y'all that because if y'all wonder what the rest of this look like. But anyway, that's all I got for now, guys. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. You're listening to DJ Afro Think Tank. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and